Hi everyone, welcome to IAB There, our live stream show where we connect the digital advertising ecosystem. I'm Zoe Soon, VP of the Experience Center, and in today's session we'll be talking about getting started in the metaverse. We'll be talking about the emergence of the metaverse and the next phase of the internet where our physical and digital worlds will start to blend and how we're moving towards a new level of connectedness. With that said, I'm super excited to welcome Nada Stirat of Meta. Nada is VP of North America at Meta, where she leads partnerships and businesses of all sizes that advertise across the US and Canada. Her team supports all of Meta's offerings, including Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and Marketplace. Prior to Meta, Nada was CEO of Verve Mobile, a venture-backed global location-based mobile technology platform. Nada joined Verve from Axiom, where she served as the company's first CRO, leading a global team responsible for the company's revenue, operations, and analytics practices. Nada has also held executive positions at News Corp, Viacom, and AOL. Nada currently serves as director on the boards of Blue Star Families, a 501c3 that supports US military families during difficult times of deployment, and the IAB. She's been named to Cable World's Most Powerful Women, Business Insider's Most Powerful Women in Mobile, and awarded the AdTech Industry Achievement Award. Wow. Welcome, Nada. Thanks for joining us today.
Zoe, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Impressive background. Would you maybe mind starting us off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your role at Meta?
Sure. And so my group, what we do is we work with advertisers and make sure that we can ultimately achieve their business goals, and everything from helping them sell products to repositioning their brands to creating a new messaging platform. It's just a really, really exciting time to be in this business. And especially with everything that we've gone through right now with the COVID virus and everything, the need for connectivity has never been greater. And I've just been incredibly proud of the good work we've been able to do.
Wonderful. And I mean, I'd be remiss not to talk about the name change. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's been?
Yeah, no, it is so exciting, Zoe. And I have to tell you, when Mark made the announcement a couple of weeks ago, everybody who worked here, we all had goosebumps. I mean, he is thinking about the evolution of the internet, like the next iteration from what was a 2D experience into this fully immersive 3D interoperable world. And, and obviously it's the metaverse. And so just like when the mobile was initially launched as an adjunct to what was then the Facebook desktop experience, ultimately mobile became the centerpiece through which people engage with all of our platforms. The metaverse is going to follow that same path. And that's why the name change to Meta, it reflects that future.
I love that analogy between the trajectories.
Wow.
You really get a sense of where this could go, and moving from that passive one-way experience of the internet to a fully participatory, immersive experience. That's really exciting. And I would say what maybe even just as recently as 6 months ago, no one had even really heard of Metaverse. It sort of exploded onto the scene recently. What should marketers be excited about when it comes to something like this?
Well, I think the first thing is just to kind of ground us in when you're thinking about the metaverse. So it's immersive 3D virtual environments that ultimately bridge physical and virtual worlds through technology like AR or augmented reality and VR, which is virtual reality. And so what it means is instead of, viewing content or passively, you're actually in the content, or instead of like communicating with each other, you're actually doing things together. And this all will be enabled through the metaverse. And I started hosting meetings in Horizon Workrooms, which is basically a VR conference room. And so you put on your Quest headset and your avatar, which by the way, is looking more and more like me, or I guess maybe I'm looking more and more like my avatar. It's beamed to this table. And so you're sitting around a table with your coworkers. They're all sitting around And because of the audio is so good in that headset, if my colleague to the left is talking, I automatically turn. If somebody across the room is talking, the audio projects in the way that it is so real. And then, by the way, if you're super excited and you want to fist bump or high five, you feel this physical vibration in the
Wow.
controller. Yeah, it's really cool. And so, and then I think the what makes it even more real is that even though you're in this 3D environment, you then have 2D experiences. So like a whiteboard, like we all sat there and we whiteboarded an idea and somebody had a laptop open, you could see their laptop. And so it's that bridging of the 2D and the 3D that ultimately made it feel like you were right there together.
I was going to say, and I'm sure the brain really can't tell the difference. To the brain, it feels like
Yeah.
it's there.
That's
Wow.
exactly right. It felt, and it, again, the novelty, and we're all getting set up and we're all excited about it first. So it takes every meeting a little bit longer because there's just too much enthusiasm for the technology. But we're only a few short years away from that just becoming the norm.
And I imagine the pandemic and having to be socially distanced and out of the office, I think we appreciate this
Yeah.
technology so much more now, right? Because
Well,
we
that's
need
right.
it.
And Zoe, I've hired two people on my team that I've not physically met yet. And I will tell you that the strangest experience was we were in the metaverse and we were high-fiving and we were right next to each other and we were talking to each other and you forgot about the distance. And there was something so moving about that experience. And again, it's not that this is ever going to supplant or replace the real world and physical interaction, but it really felt a lot better than sitting across from each other on a Zoom call all day.
Right. I think we should maybe try to do some of these interviews in the metaverse. That would be
Okay, game on. We'll do the next one in
yeah.
our headsets for sure.
So let's revisit that question about what this means for brands then, because it's an exciting shift, and I'm sure we haven't even scratched the surface. What are some of the implications for our industry with this shift?
Okay, Zoe, you broke up, and so I'm so sorry.
Oh,
You
sorry.
froze. You
Thank you for.
froze.
Okay. Maybe we go back to revisit the question, what are the implications? So the question I was going to ask is, what are the implications for the industry with this shift?
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, Zoe, put your hand up to indicate you're going to start again.
Okay. Okay, let's revisit that question then, Nada. We're just scratching the surface with the metaverse. What does this mean for brands? What should they be excited about? What are some of the implications for our industry with this shift?
Yeah, and so I think less about a shift and I think more about an addition.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest implication, I think, is just the types of economies that are going to be created because of the metaverse. And if you think about new franchisees and brands and artists and creators all needed to develop the content and the experiences to build these robust worlds I was talking about. The metaverse is going to transform commerce. And if it transforms commerce, it means it's going to transform the entire advertising industry. And what that means, marketers just have this entirely new platform. So they're going to develop and engage and create these key moments with audiences that have just not even been imagined. And my favorite is just thinking about the idea, like I love cooking shows. Imagine like having a chef right in front of you and cooking with you, or an athlete sitting next to you or sitting next to your avatar and giving you commentary while you're watching a particular game. So there's just so many things that you can be doing so you can be feeling you're part of the actual experience. And it's going to be extraordinary for our entire industry.
I mean, I'm just thinking about all the brand recall, how much more of an emotional connection you're going to make with brands because it's activating so much more of your brain and your nervous system, and it's so much more of a participatory experience.
Exactly.
And I mean, if we're thinking about how brands are going to engage in the metaverse, how do you think privacy is going to work, and how will it be different than Web 2.0?
Well, there's a lot of parallels to Web 2.0 in the sense of the metaverse is anchored in interoperability. So it means we are, in order to create these kinds of marketplaces that we want, where creators of content and experiences and digital goods all exist, it means privacy standards, control, and transparency is mission critical from day one. So much of our investments, Meta's investments in the metaverse today are making sure that things are being built responsibly. We understand the principles of privacy, safety, security, the need for all of those to be very clear and built into the platform from the start. And we feel strongly it's not up to just any one company to set the rules on this. We're going to be collaborating at every stage of the development with experts, academics, policymakers, the industry bodies like the IAB, just to make sure that we are anticipating challenges and we're going to get this right from the start. And actually, we just announced a 2-year global investment of $50 million in programs and external research for building the metaverse responsibly.
That's wonderful to hear. It's almost like town planning, but for a digital world,
Yeah.
on a digital world scale.
Absolutely. And it has to be collaborative and it has to be everybody.
Great. Talking about building worlds, I heard someone once talk about the metaverse and saying, you know, in the metaverse, everyone is a world builder, including brands.
Yeah.
Can you share maybe some of the ways brands have done this world building already?
Yes, and so because you said build this world already, I just want to make sure that any of the brands who are listening, if you're nervous because you haven't gotten started yet, do not worry. This is still such early days. The metaverse is an exciting and promising vision, but there is truly many, many years ahead. But what I would do is for brand advertisers, I think anchoring in the 3 specific elements of the metaverse and making sure that you're investing and testing today and perfecting over the next few years. And those 3 elements are messaging, AR, and VR. And so think of messaging as the keystone for the metaverse's interoperability vision. So that's what's going to allow people to connect with one another across platforms, across worlds. And many parts of the metaverse already exist in cross-app experiences if I look at our messaging and messenger foundation. So make sure that as a marketer, you have the most robust messaging capabilities available today and keep improving on them, because this is going to be the bridge that's going to have apps on 2D screens become more immersive in 3D worlds and vice versa. And so get messaging right and learn from it now. And then the second thing is, and I'm going to lump in AR and VR because there's a lot of experimentation that is going on right now. And as a marketer, rethink customer experiences and what that customer interaction is going to look like. One was this really cool luxury watch company used VR to take people back in time to its founding and immerse them in the richness of its history. And you actually sat there with the original watchmaker to see what they were doing. And again, that's something I would not be I wouldn't be able to be in Switzerland to be able to see that. Certainly wouldn't be able to be in Switzerland 100 years ago to see that. We love how many fashion designers stage their entire fall 21 collections using the Quest headset to make consumers feel like they're sitting in the front row. And again, those are experiences that wouldn't have been possible before. And so we also think that businesses have already, certainly because of the pandemic, been doing a lot of things for training their population at scale using headsets. One global shipping company truly had thousands of people augmenting what would have been their in-person training programs in a virtual environment, so they didn't have to stop and wait until everybody could be back in an office. So there's just a lot of ways that it can be used today. And again, I cannot stress the sky is the limit, and just get excited with it and have some fun and learn along the way.
Great. And I mean, it's almost a whole new palette of creativity, right? Like that watch commercial that you just explained takes it to a whole other level of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And I'm glad you said don't be intimidated if you haven't already gotten there. It's just starting. If marketers haven't yet dipped their toes into some of these entry points like AR and VR, what advice would you give them to kind of get started?
So I would just say that if for people getting excited about starting today, start testing augmented reality strategies, see what filters look like, use Spark AR. Spark AR is the leading mobile AR platform for creators and brands. Start building and publishing AR effects and see what your consumers are responding to. And then I would tell everybody, invest in a VR headset. It is the absolute best way to see how it works as a consumer so that you can understand the scope of what is possible for your business.
2 great, very tangible things people can take action on. I love it. And looking ahead to the future, what does the current world look like with a metaverse? What are some of your predictions?
Well, I mean, and that's what's so exciting about the metaverse, because it's really not about a blueprint. It's a framework. And so there's so much room for wonderful creative things that have yet to be imagined. And so I think on the more cerebral side, the implications in the world of academia are truly going to be life-changing. So imagine the ability to virtually transport medical students from impoverished communities into classrooms and hospitals of the most sophisticated, advanced colleges in the world. I mean, the Quest headset is already being used in medical technology, from designing tools to testing surgical procedures. We're seeing VR used in exposure therapy to bring relief from PTSD in the military community. I mean, these are incredible, powerful things that are happening right now. And my prediction will be that ultimately what the metaverse does is it helps level the playing field for people and for companies and for communities to be able to have opportunities for themselves and then participate in realms and economies that were previously just not possible based on physical, geographical location limitations.
Right, really opening up the possibilities, and the sky's
Right.
the limit, right?
Yes.
Great. Well, Nada, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. It's been wonderful to chat with you and hear about the insider's view from Meta. Any last words from you, or we?
Yes, I'm going to hold you to it. So next time we're going to do this interview in the metaverse, because I'm dying to see your avatar. So thank you so much for having me. This was really a lot of fun, and have a happy holiday.
Great, you too. Thanks, Nada.